You should only take things personal when it's actually personal. I'm really observing, especially on social media. Social media is a place where so many ideas and thoughts get shared every day. And I notice the dialogue between people a lot of times can get really personal. When nothing about the post was personal, it was just a passionate stance on some type of topic or idea. When you speak on certain things, you're going to trigger certain people. Because every message has a receiver. Somebody's going to receive it. It's going to touch somebody on a personal level. And those people respond however they see fit. People be feeling hit, man. Like, just because you feel hit, that don't mean it's about you. If you feel hit, then address that within yourself. Don't be making personal attacks on people because they said something that personally affected you. That's where people mess up. So before you decide to respond to a person in a personal way, really ask yourself if what they said applied to you. Like, did they directly talk to you? And most of the time, that's not the case because we're on the internet. And as far as, non-internet related posts, when you're in a conversation with a person, even if you're having a direct back and forth, you can't take everything that this person says or does personally because it ain't about you all the time. Unless they, again, are personally attacking you, saying something about you directly, then you really don't have any ground to say anything personal. I think this will help a lot of people from getting into fights and unnecessary conflict with people. All it takes is for one person to take something personal, and then you make it personal. And now the person that you are personally attacking, most of the time is going to dip down to your level and they're going to get personal too. And now you got two people fighting each other who weren't even supposed to be fighting because it was never about them too. We take things away from the topic, away from the issue at hand, or what, even if it's usually not even an issue at all. It's just a thing. It's a conversation. It's something that's being addressed. And you turn something completely innocent, something that could be productive and intellectual, and you make it personal, and then now the conversation in the back and forth is completely not productive. And you got two people in their feelings going back and forth personally. And where is that going to get you? It's this thing about people are always feeling attacked. People are always ready to defend themselves, to defend their own feelings. So that's the problem. People take every triggering of an emotion as a personal attack, when really nobody really cares about your fucking feelings. Like, if you got triggered, do you think people care about you enough to always want to be concerned with that? You think people are actually out to hurt you just because you got hurt? No, that's something you got to address. Like I said, unless it's a personal attack, and it's usually not. People are usually not out here just personally coming at a person. We just speaking from our own perspective, either in conversation or publicly online or whatever the platform is. People got to stop taking it personal, because that takes it to a whole nother place. You don't want to go to that place. That's a dangerous place when people start going back and forth on a personal level, because that's when people get hurt for real. We're not trying to hurt each other. We're really not. Most of us are not trying to hurt people. It's like we actually think people are stupid for not thinking like us, when really it's stupid to think that everybody should think and move like us. That's the stupid part. You think all these millions and millions of people who walk this planet are supposed to think like you and speak like you? Because that's what it means when you take stuff personal. When you get so in your feelings that you want to attack a person because they have some type of thought pattern that's different from yours, and you take that so personally that you want to hurt them. When really you just need to open yourself up. Open yourself up to see something outside of your own mind. And that don't mean you got to agree with it. That don't even mean you got to feel good about it. It could be very triggering. Who cares if you're triggered? You care because it's your feeling. But the rest of us, we don't give a fuck. A person that's empathetic will care. Like if a person knows that they triggered you, even if they didn't personally come at you. This is what a humble spirit will do. Humble people will, still be empathetic, still be apologetic, even though they know that their intent was not to hurt and that they were not personally coming at anybody. They'll still take the time to apologize and, try to at least let these people know that, no, you might have taken it personal, but I can assure you that it's not about you. And I can be mature enough to see your side, even though I still have my stance. Then you get into the whole thing about, when you have a stance, people feel like you should be on a side. Why do people always feel like you got to pick a side? This is a pick a side ass world, man. Like you can't, it's like people do not accept that you can see things two different ways. It's like, I'll say things and I'll have moments where I'm very much on a side and very strong in what I'm saying. But then after expressing and I see the different perspectives and the responses, I'll be able to open my mind up and see the effect of my words and the other side and what they're saying. And then I'll, in the same way that I'll express my own stance on something, I'll come back and express the stance that's really showing understanding to the other side. And it's like, once you show understanding to the other side, people don't understand that doesn't mean you don't still stand on what you said. It just means you're open and well balanced enough to see things from different perspectives, because it's not all about what you say and what you're doing. That's just maturity, man. It's wise to do that. It's not weak. It doesn't mean that you don't have, or you're not standing firm. You gotta understand that your way is not the only way. Your thought pattern is not the right way. What the fuck is right and wrong? Really, what really is right and wrong? It's all perspective. Perspective is what wins in all moments. It ain't about truth. This is what I'm learning. You could be on the side of truth all you want, and the truth cannot be argued. But in a world where perception is the key, yeah, anything can be argued. You can be making every point in the world, all the evidence that would prove that your stance is true and the other side is bullshit. If people are connected to their perspective on something, you cannot fight a person on it, and you can't make them think differently. And that shit can get real personal, because now it ain't really about how we think. It's about you as a person and how you ain't shit and how you stupid because you thinking that way, and you should think like me because I'm right. No, you should think like me because the way... And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine on Facebook, and I said, you got to know when to disengage. And I feel like that's one of the main things that people fail to do. You go back and forth for way too long about things. Are you trying to change my opinion, or am I trying to change yours? Are you trying to prove you're right? What is the goal? Because in a lot of these back and forths and these exchanges of ideas and people be wanting to talk through shit, a lot of times those back and forths, they're going nowhere, because neither side is going to change their stance. Best thing we can learn to do is look at a person or type to a person, because we do a lot of typing these days. Type to a person and just say, I accept that you think differently. I accept that we do not have the same thought patterns, and we're not supposed to. And even though your opinion and your views and even your delivery might rub me the wrong way, I'm not going to take that personally. I'm going to accept that we're two different minds, and there's nothing else that we need to talk about. I'm going to let you think how you think, and I'm going to continue to think like I'm going to think. But I respect your stance, even if I don't agree, because you have every freedom to think the way you do. What's so hard about that? Why is it so hard for people to do that? Because everybody thinks that their way is the right way. Their way is the best way to think. And if anybody thinks otherwise, you're hurting society, or you're not doing it right. Nah, man. There is no right or wrong. It's either this or that. And who cares what side you on? Because we all living and we all gonna die. So live for something that makes sense to you. And stop trying to make your stance make sense to other people. It ain't gotta make sense. We ain't gotta understand each other. All we need to understand is that we different. And in some cases, it's not anybody's job really to change how a person thinks or to make them acknowledge something outside. Yeah, if somebody's open enough to let that happen, then you'll see that in the exchange. But don't be beating people over the head. I feel like people drag on conversations too long when they are too personally triggered to fight for something. We need to fight by doing less fighting. If we're fighting for unity and understanding and a strong people, then we need to learn when to not fight. Because some of the stuff we be fighting for, a lot of the stuff we fight for is really unnecessary. And the energy that we put into these conversations and these back and forths can be put in more productive places. We can bring our minds together for something bigger than just idiotic debates that go left, and now we personally attacking people that are not our enemies. Just because I think differently from you don't mean I'm your enemy. Vice versa. Why is it that we think a person that's outside of our own ideals is a threat? You know, why can't people just have their stances on things and leave it at that thing? Because we deeper than all these little topics that we go back and forth and want to fight each other on. These things are not what make us who we are, man. Like, we're bigger than all of it. And I really want people to see that. And that's something that I've been fighting for. That's what I've been fighting for. Something bigger than me. Something bigger than you. And I think that's the type of thoughts that's going to move humanity forward.